What's up, guys? Nolan here, and today we're going to be talking about King of the Hill in ARMA 3. If you guys don't know what King of the Hill is, it's a pretty fun game mode. I would definitely make sure to check it out if you have not yet. You don't need to download anything extra unless you want to play like a World War II mod or anything, but you can just play base ARMA and just filter for it, and you can check it out for yourself. But it's basically a free-for-all game mode, not player versus player, but it's team versus team. There's 3 teams, blue 4, red 4, and independent, and you basically fight over one hill or an area on the map. It's usually a city. There's a lot of close quarters fighting going on the hill that you're talking about, and basically the team that has the most players on that hill at any given time will be getting points, and the team that hit 100 points, which is also for being in that area or on that hill yourself, you'll get points and money to then go back and buy new vehicles, new gear, new weapons, things like that. It's really cool. I definitely would check it out if you have not yet. First things first is group up. Whether you're on a winning team or not, if your team is winning, and usually most people will switch to the winning team, if your team is winning and you have more players than any of the other teams, it will actually automatically switch you to a different team if you die. So first things first, even if you're losing, especially if you're winning, you want to make sure that you group up. Just go ahead and go to the player menu, go to groups, and invite everybody that's not even in a group. And then also, if you see that green arrow, you can just also go and accept it, and then that's an invite from another person to join their group, because then you won't get team switched. You want to make sure you do that. Whether you're actually trying to do it for a cocky reason, whether you're just trying to be sneaky, where you actually just want to make sure you're on the winning team so you get the extra points at the end of the match, or whatever, you want to make sure you group up so you do not get team switched. I've also had it happen where I was on a losing team, and then we started winning, and then people just switched to the winning team, and then a team switched me. I've had that happen twice before. It's not fun. Just make sure you guys group up, and it won't happen to you. Tip number 2 would be buy cheap. So basically, just use that starter Tavor until you get enough money to get and permanently buy the AK-47, just to make sure that you have it, and then go from there. I would definitely advise that instead of just buying a gun every single life, because you don't know if you're actually going to be able to get those kills or not. It's definitely a more efficient way to do this, but if you get too butthurt, or if you get just too bad of luck trying to shoot people with the 5.56 and they're not going down, then yeah, you might have to switch out. But mainly the buy cheap is referring to vehicles. You don't need to buy a Strider every single time you go into the AO. You can get in there just fine with an ATV. Even on vehicle servers, if you're smart, if you go into the side of the AO that is clearly not covered in enemies, with the ATV, you can get in there just fine. Just buy the ATV, try and get in there quickly, go into a side that's not completely covered in enemies, and you should be fine. Extra ammo. A lot of people don't know about this. In safe zones, you cannot access your inventory of vehicles, but what you can do is if you just drive right to the edge of the safe zone, once it says you're out of the safe zone, put whatever, whether it be a rocket launcher, C4, whatever, your backpack, whatever you want, in the vehicle's inventory, and then drive back, reload, and then go back. Whatever you put in the inventory before will actually still be there. So what a lot of people do is they'll get extra AA missiles or extra AT missiles or just ammo in general, whatever, put it in their vehicle outside of the safe zone, then go back and just stock it, keep stocking it. This way you can go to a hill somewhere and just be shooting down planes left and right, or helicopters left and right, as much as you want, as long as you hide the vehicle pretty well, because as you know, if you have an ATGM or if you have somebody with thermals, if you park that shit up on top of a hill, they're going to see it. So you make sure you at least hide the vehicle, especially with all that ammo in it. It'll make a big boom if it gets hit. Sniping. Tip number 3 would be when sniping. If you have the designator perk, if you're a high enough level to have the designator perk, make sure you use it. It makes it so much easier to snipe, especially at the longer ranges. All you gotta do is take out the designator, hit N a couple times so you can go to thermal setting, and everybody will pop up bright as day. You'll be able to see people walking, running, just sitting still. A lot of times when people are sniping and they're being a really annoying sniper, this is how they're doing it. So maybe stay away from sniping until you actually get the designator. Sometimes it's fun for me, especially when my team is leading, but definitely having that designator and having that thermal is awesome to have. Not to mention that you can just click and you can mark targets for your buddies too. Like there's a vehicle coming into town, you can just mark it, or if there's being somebody sneaky coming around behind someone, you can just mark it and your teammates will be able to see what you're lasing, just as a big crosshairs on their UI as well. So that would be useful for your teammates. You want to be careful with certain vehicles, because if you're lasing something and they have night vision or thermals on themselves, they can see where you are lasing from. So, and they also get a notification when they are being lased, so they'll start looking for you the second you put it on their vehicle, especially if it's a tank or some kind of AA piece or something. If you're playing on a vehicle server, you want to be very, very, very careful with that. Lase it for a couple seconds and then move or turn it off for sure. You don't want to be caught with that, because then they'll just light you the fuck up. Fifth tip, and last but not least here, guys, is this is ARMA, not Call of Duty. Make sure you be patient. You don't have to go gung-ho and just run into the AO every single time. You have to be patient sometimes. And then, like I said before, this is ARMA. You have a big map. If somebody's being really annoying with a tank, grab an AT launcher or grab somebody that has an AT launcher and go flank that son of a bitch. Don't just run in there head first thinking that you're going to win every time and then get mad when it doesn't work out, because this is ARMA. It's not Call of Duty. You got a big-ass map. It's very difficult to get things head first, so just to go in head first. You're not going to win those all the time. So be strategic and be patient. If there's somebody camping you out, then you just maybe need to camp them out. Use smoke. Be smart about your engagements. Be smart about how you're picking your location of where you might want to camp when you're inside the hill. Things like that. I see a lot of people just being super cocky with like their helicopters and their tanks and things like that. You just have to be more patient, and you'll definitely be sure to get more kills and more points over the long term. Anyway, guys, that was my top 5 tips for King of the Hill. If you guys have not tried it out yet, I would definitely advise doing it, and make sure you stick to these tips, because if you do, you'll be doing well in no time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I also hope that you have a nice day. See you guys.